The Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to imprisoned Iranian Narges Mohammadi. The 51-year-old journalist has been Iran's most prominent human rights and women's rights activist. She's spent much of the past 2 decades in and out of jail for her activism. The Nobel Committee says that it's recognising Ms. Mohammadi's fight against systemic discrimination.
She supports women's struggle for the right to live full and dignified lives. This struggle across Iran has been met with persecution, imprisonment, torture, and even death. Freedom. She fights for freedom of expression and the right to independence, and against rules requiring women to remain out of sight and cover up their bodies.
Now for more, Stuart Smith joins us live. He's in London. Stuart, what did the Nobel Committee feel? Why did they feel that she deserved this award more than other top picks for the prize, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky? There was some consideration that he might receive it.
Yeah, that was one of the potential options, one of the names put forth by speculators in Norway. Now, the committee doesn't release details about who they were looking at least not for 50 years, in order to try and not increase speculation. But there were some insiders who suggested that it would be very unusual for a president managing a country that is currently at war to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, which heavily emphasises efforts made to reduce and stop war. That's not, of course, to say he and many others could receive it in the future, but there was massive competition, 350 other nominees put forth from organisations to individuals. In the end, the committee suggested that it was a case of her being an advocate for equality and human rights, a campaigner against the use of the death penalty, and a leader of last year's women's rights protests in Iran that ultimately meant that they believed she should be the recipient for 2023. And it's boosted, of course, the representation of women in Iran and their fight for sexual equality. But also, American media say that they've managed to get in contact with Mohammadi. She says that this boosts her hope for the fight against the oppression of women in Iran, and it boosts her hope to promote human rights abuses and freedom for all. The United Nations Commissioner for Human Rights says this award highlights the courage and determination of the women in Iran. We've not heard from Tehran about this specific award. It's not commented on how it is interpreting this, but one news agency linked to the government has suggested that she is known for her national security abuses rather than her activism within Iran.
So no response just yet from the Tehran government, Stuart, but are we expecting them to actually react at all to news of this award?
Yeah, previously we've heard from Iran that it believes that the attention given to these women's rights protests mainly came from Western nations, which it described as having interventionist and biased approaches to its comments about these protests. And this state media or semi-official outlet linked to Iran's government has suggested that it believes this is a Western prize being given to Mohammadi. In other words, trying to suggest that this is not an impartial award, but there has been recognition from around the world, although most recently from Western countries, that this is an award well deserved, as well as from other NGO groups that focus on human rights.
Stuart, thank you very much for that. Stuart Smith reporting there for us in London.